You're going to really like this one. So please subscribe and donate so we can keep doing more shows. Dan McTeague, as you probably know, is a former parliamentarian, a Liberal. He's not too fond of the Justin Liberals these days. But he joins me right now, and I want to put the question to you in sort of worldwide scope. In the Western democracies, not just Canada, where it's been known around the world that we have a flake as a prime minister, but you look at what's going on in the States and the choices that the Americans have now. And look what's going on in Britain, in France. And it seems that there's a dearth of leadership in Western democracies. Why? At a time when we need strong, smart leaders.
Very much so, and at a time in which the world seems to be edging much closer to calamity, whether that be China and Taiwan, whether that be Russia and Ukraine, whether that be what we're seeing unfold in the Middle East, at a time when we need resolute, capable leaders. They are obviously in very short supply. I'm not sure if it's because the world has changed so rapidly that the public isn't aware of it, but I think if you were to gauge the opinion of most Canadians and Americans today, they're not happy with the status quo, and they're certainly not happy with who's administering the affairs for them.
And they aren't happy with what governments are doing. Most people are unhappy with the way, certainly the Canadian government, the bureaucrats, forget about even the ministers, the bureaucrats are mucking things up.
Well, look,
tremendous dissatisfaction, and yet we don't have leaders who can come in and say, I'm going to fix this.
Yeah. No, we don't have that. And even if someone had all the right answers and all the right solutions, it would be stolen immediately by this coalition in this country. We know that for a fact. And then, of course, we know that in the absence of any leadership of the current government, we leave Canadians wide open to the idea that they're somehow subject to this arrangement between two parties to cling to power as long as they like.
I know. I mean, it's bizarre, but most Canadians aren't really understanding that until now, until the last year. It's been going on for a few years. So is it our fault that we aren't paying attention to politics?
Look, I think where this came off the rails wasn't just the critical theorist in principle, Justin Trudeau, but I think we tended to ignore the real strong messages. I wasn't the only one out there making comments that there will come a time in which affordability would be a real challenge for most Canadians. Right. Most people excluded that. Oh, the government will be there for us. Oh, they'll pay us some CERB. Or they'll give us a few bucks here and there. You can't buy poverty, or you can't buy people out of poverty, as is the case today. And it's for that reason I think Canadians are finally waking up. Unfortunately, it may be too little, too late, and the damage is done to such an extent that it may be irreparable for generations to come.
I know you're an optimistic hope, so I hope that you're wrong on that one.
Me too.
Thanks very much. 3 minutes. This show provides independent analysis of the issues. We are not paid by the government. And as I am finding, so much business in Canada relies upon various governments that they don't want to sponsor or advertise on a show which may become controversial, which talks about liberty, freedoms, sometimes criticizes government. I've had guests on that support the government. But people are saying, you know what? We don't want to bite the hand that feeds us, i.e. government, which is why I hope you'll subscribe and contribute to keep this show on the air.